Hi guys, this is the quick start tutorial for creating a pixel cloud with depth from a photographic source. Now to start off, I've imported a Photoshop file with the following layers: a background layer, a source image, a depth map image or height map image, and imported these into After Effects. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new composition here, which I will make 1280 by 720. And for now, make it 30 frames per second, about 10 seconds long, and I will rename that composition main and drag those three layers into my composition and resize them so that they fill the screen here, and also resizing my dog image so that it fits right in my frame there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off all three layers and then just turn on my source layer, which is this dog layer here, and I'm going to go ahead and pre-compose that, move all attributes, and I'm going to call the new composition source. And I will do the same thing to my depth map here. Pre-compose. I'll rename that composition depth. Move all attributes. Okay. And I'll go ahead and turn off all my layers here and create a new blank solid, which I will rename Pixel Cloud. Make it comp size and make sure that it is black and go OK. And I will apply the Pixel Cloud effect by going to Effect, Blurry Pixel, Pixel Cloud. And before going any further, I'm going to go ahead and create a new camera, and I'll make it a 2-node camera. Choose the 35mm preset, and I will rename that camera ShotCam. And I'm also going to need a reference camera, so what I'll do here is I'll duplicate that camera, rename it RefCam, and drag it to the bottom of the stack. And with that new reference camera, I'll go back to my Pixel Cloud effect panel, and under Link Reference Camera, hit that button there, choose my RefCam, OK, and I've set my reference camera. Then moving back up to the top of the effect panel, I'll choose my source layer, which should be source. My position pass should be depth. And before I go any further, I'll need to set my position pass options here. So twirl down the position pass adjustment, and under map RGB2, choose Luma Z projected and enable invert Z. Now we should have our Pixel Cloud in our world space, and we should be able to see it in our composition window. And if I go ahead and move the camera around a little bit, you can see that it is indeed 3D pixels in my 3D space. Right now, it's actually a flat image, or a flat looking image, because we haven't changed the gain amount. So what I'll have to do is go back to my Pixel Cloud effect panel and then twirl down the gain adjustment. Disable or uncheck the uniform gain option, and under gain Z I'll put a number 500. And now, as you can see, the depth map that we had before is actually affecting the displacement of our Pixel Cloud, and it is creating this sort of pseudo 3D effect with our Pixel Cloud. And I can twirl, or I can move my camera around, and I can create an animation using just this Pixel Cloud. Okay, so for now, what I'll go ahead and do is to reset my ShotCam here by twirling down to my transform options and hitting reset. And the camera should just go back to its default state. Now, what I need to do is to set up a quick animation here. So I will move the camera around a little bit, and set a keyframe. Then I'll move down to 10 seconds, or the end of the timeline, and move my camera again. And as long as I have auto key there, I should get a keyframe set. And if I move through, you can see that I've got an animation set up. Now, unfortunately, there seem to be gaps between the pixels, as you can see. One way to fix this is simply to use a denser pixel cloud. So what I'll go ahead and do here is jump into the depth composition that I have, and I'll go ahead and double the size of this whole composition, including the layer inside of it. So the easiest way to do that is to go up to File, Scripts, Demo Palette, Scale Composition, and then with New Scale Factor selected, put in 2.0 in the input field and hit Scale. And there we go. If you check on the dimensions of this composition, you'll see that it is now twice the size as it was before, 2560 by 1440. Now I'll go back to my main composition and do the exact same thing to my source composition. So I'll jump into that composition, go back up to File, Scripts, Demo Palette, Scale Composition, 2.0, the New Scale Factor, Scale, and there we go. Great. Now I'll go back to my main composition here. Oh, but it looks like, as you can see, that it hasn't really changed it. It's actually just enlarged it 4 times. So what I need to do is to reduce it on the X and Y, Z axes by going back to my gain adjustment, and under gain X, change that to 0.5 and gain Y to 0.5. And now, as you can see, we have twice as many pixels, and we've reduced the amount of gaps between the pixels in our pixel cloud. Now, at this point, you might notice your system bogging down, and that's because we are using 4 times as many pixels as we were before. So in order to speed things up further, Pixel Cloud has the render mode, and that allows us to preview our Pixel Cloud in lower resolutions, allowing us to move faster and work quicker. So I'll pull down render mode, and under render mode choose quarter. That's quarter resolution. So now if I move the camera around, it should move a lot faster than it was before. Also, another trick is if you do see your system bogging down too much, you can also enable caps lock and hit the escape key in order to temporarily halt the current render. Okay, now that I'm ready to go ahead and do a final render, you'll still see a few little gaps here, but I can fix that by going back to my render mode, putting it back to the default state of none, and going down to right here where it says Enable Pixel Anti-Alias, checking it. Then disable the grid and turn my background back on. Hit Ctrl M to add my composition to the render queue. Render out my animation. Thanks for listening, and that was the quick start tutorial for creating a pixel cloud with depth from a photographic source.